For most girls growing up, fathers are their first real-life heroes, teaching them right from wrong, how they should be treated like a lady, and encouraging their independence. However, sometimes the man we look up to can be the ones to unintentionally hurt us at the point of being nearly irreparable. Welcome back, Psychos. Today we'll be discussing 10 signs of a toxic father-daughter relationship. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as to click the notification bell so that you never miss a video. Number 1. He never listened to your side of the story. When fathers are quick to belittle the opinions of their daughters' views and opinions on situations or life as a whole, it can turn into a toxic relationship really quickly. Fathers like this have a tendency to think that their daughters still have a lot of growing up to do, even if she's fully an adult. They tend to blindly side with other people's opinions before their daughters, even when their daughters need them the most. A good example of this is in school or relationships. If the father automatically thinks that there's something that the daughter did wrong without considering the actions of the authority or romantic partner, you can be sure that all the trust that the daughter once had in her father is now ruined. Number 2. He pointed out your insecurities. According to the American Psychological Association, daughters are more willing to open up to their fathers about insecurities and secrets compared to their mothers. So if a daughter's trust is broken by the father using these personal insecurities against them, it'll take a lot of work to gain that trust and support back. In fact, once this trust is lost, it can trigger deep self-insecurity for girls, which will become stronger and more apparent in adulthood. This usually happens because of a deep-rooted self-insecurity the father had within himself, which sometimes is directly linked to past connections he had with women. On the other hand, if his father had narcissistic tendencies, he may be oblivious to the feelings of empathy, making him totally clueless of when things are hurtful or uncalled for. Number 3. He never appreciated your accomplishments. As children, it's a normal tendency to want to please our parents, to make them proud of who we are. In a normal parent-child relationship, the parents are excited and eager to show the child that they are proud of when they've done something positive, which refers back to the reward system that is so crucial for learning and growing. So when a father avoids rewarding or acknowledging the little accomplishments that their daughter presents to them, it begins to make them not as important to her either. Usually fathers like this resort to finding issues about the accomplishment or better ways she could have done it, which leads to the feeling of being inadequate and not good enough. This toxic relationship trait is one of the main reasons some women have had a hard time knowing their self-worth later on in life. Number 4. He often raises his voice. Fathers who turn to take their frustrations out on their family are usually the ones to blame for this sign of toxic father-daughter relationships. Maybe he had a bad day at work and the frustration followed him home and turned into verbal abuse. As a child, you don't know better than to listen to it and not know how to react. He can also raise his voice when genuinely angry at something that you've done, instead of resorting to calmly explaining why it wasn't a good idea. This is not only a major sign of toxic father-daughter relationship, but it's also extremely ineffective. According to Dr. Kelly Campbell, a psychology professor, these type of verbally violent outbursts are caused by a destructive temper, which can lead to further feelings of stress for everyone involved. Number 5. He turned to physical punishment. The scary thing about these verbally violent outbursts is that they can soon turn into physical punishment, which can bring in a whole host of problems. This goes without saying, but physical acts of punishment are extremely toxic and often ineffective. These tactics don't exactly cause the child to learn from their mistakes. In fact, it actually causes them to just become smarter at hiding their mistakes, while actually encouraging them to become more rebellious because of the feelings of frustration they build up from the physical abuse. Maybe spanking was considered normal at one point or another, but in a new day and age, it's been proven to only cause more anguish and less respect. Number 6. He's a narcissist. Having a narcissist in your life while growing up can be an extremely difficult thing to handle, especially when it's a parent. Traits of a narcissistic father include putting his feelings, wants, and needs first, exaggerating his accomplishments, showing a lack of empathy towards others, and not being able to handle any opinion that challenges his beliefs. This not only causes a huge disconnect from his family, but it also causes ingenuine acts of love and respect, which children usually carry into their adulthood. These ingenuine acts of love can cause adults to become people pleasers, while always putting their own needs last. Number 7. He's controlling. Control is one way that narcissistic parents get their way. So when a father is overly controlling of their daughter, it may be a sign that he is narcissistic, or that he just really doesn't want his daughter to grow up. Overly controlling fathers specifically can lead to children having higher levels of depression and dissatisfaction for life, according to the Huffington Post. An overly controlling parent can also make it difficult for kids and teens to know how to make decisions for themselves later on in life, which can lead to anxiety and a disconnect of who they truly are as a person. Daughters in particular tend to rely on men to get through life because of their lack of self-confidence to make the right decision. Number 8. You normalized being in fear of him. Did you grow up walking on eggshells as a child, constantly worrying if you're doing the right thing? In toxic father-daughter relationships, the daughters are in constant fear of their father's reactions to seemingly positive or negative choices they make. This usually leads girls to not do what they know in their hearts that they want to do, which results in missing out on a lot of life's lessons and crucial experiences that are needed to grow as a person. Normalizing being in fear of the most important man in their lives can also lead to poor choices in men when it comes to relationships, because the love they have becomes so similar with that of dominance. Number 9. He had a substance use problem. Growing up with a father who was never around is difficult for any child. Even if they were physically present, substance use can cause a disconnect of his true personality being present. And then there's the other side of substance use, like an alcoholic father, for example, which is known to cause extreme havoc in a home and turmoil within the family. Substance misuse also has a considerate effect on the relationship between the child and the topic of the substances. Children will try to find an escape from this change in personality that they see in their father when under the influence, which can be experimenting with substances for themselves or other depressive tendencies due to the resentment they hold. Number 10. He was disrespectful to the other parent. We all learn as children through seeing and mimicking behaviours. Girls get the majority of their views and opinions about relationship and other life matters through the interactions of their parents. More specifically, they decipher what's right and wrong when it comes to how a man treats a woman through the actions and words of a father uses to her mother. So it's no surprise that if a father is disrespectful to his spouse, the child will understand this to be the proper way of a relationship, while also creating a deep resentment towards her father for causing the unhappiness in her mother. This is why toxic father-daughter relationships become so apparent in adulthood when it comes time for a woman to really understand her value and the proper way that she should be treated. Well, Psychos, that's it for today. Comment down below if you think you have a toxic father-daughter relationship and what steps you took to heal it. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more Psycho videos. We hope you learned something, and we'll see you in the next one.